Okay, guys, I just showed up on Manga Plus today because I wanted to read the new chapter of Dan Da Dan. And then I see this June 2023 Bronze Award, and the manga is called Bolt, and it's from manga creators. And hey, we all know now that manga creators has inflated numbers. If you don't know about that, watch the video I made about it. But ultimately, if we go into the manga itself. So I just want to talk about it. I want to talk about it and understand why it got a bronze award. I do know why now. And in fact, I know why in fact, all the foreigners have been getting bronze. I have not yet seen anybody get a silver or a gold. But I will say this immediately right off the bat. Number one, the Japanese have a different standard for foreigners. Number two, foreigners who do manage to earn this award, who do end up even achieving the standard, because this greatly achieves the standard that I talk about on this channel, which is the manga character design aesthetic, the good manga style paneling, right? And the secret formula, which is very hard to achieve, right? To some extent, this has the formula, which is incredible, but it got a bronze. And the award of a bronze is that you get 100,000 Japanese yen, and that's pretty much groceries for a couple of months, depending on where you live, right? And unfortunately, now we know the Japanese don't like people ripping off stuff. DD Mark with his Ruthless Render manga is a straight ripoff of Jujutsu Kaisen and a straight ripoff of Chainsaw Man. That's why he got a bronze. This manga, reading it, and in the beginning, I was like, wow, okay, this is pretty cool. But then I started seeing multiple things that I know he either traced it or he copied it like crazy, man. I couldn't believe it. And I was like, is this guy serious? Does he think no one can notice this? So I want to show you, but just know right off the bat, this is why foreigners be getting that bronze award, because y'all are ripping things off. You might have the aesthetic, you might have the paneling, but you're legit ripping things off. It means you can't think for yourself. And that's a tragedy. That's an absolute tragedy. But then again, this is just the beginning. He had to conceptualize everything here, and how he did everything was he took a bunch of scenes from different manga and put it together in the correct context. That does take creativity in knowing how to steal. But unfortunately, if you didn't change the actual scene and just made it exactly like the scene you stole it from, well, it's a straight up problem. It means you're not creative. It means you're creatively bankrupt. You know, this is not being mean. This is being legit. I was shocked, man, but that's it right off the bat. So this is the cover. The author's behind, and man, I like the art, guys. This thing is so cool. It's so cool, but it's so sad when you realize that the dude straight up ripped off a lot of things. So anyways, this scene here in particular reminds me of this manga. Was there an update here recently? I forgot the name. It starts with a G. Gami something. Is it here? Please be here. It's not even in the top 25. Huh. Where is it? Should be here. Nope. Is it here? No, it's not here either. Could it be? Okay, it's not here either. Oh, this one. Yes. It's, bro, like if you read this manga, whatever its name is, it's called, come on now, Goku Rakugai, right? This thing and this thing, there's a lot of scenes that this guy borrowed from here, including certain faces, because I noticed that some of the character designs are not consistent here. And some can say, well, that's a background character. No, bro. We need to talk about consistency. Because at the end of the day, if you claim you did all this by yourself, well, we would know, right? We would know your style would be consistent. But, anyways, moving on here, this is one example. This style here doesn't look like the same artist drew it. This looks like a randomized style, maybe from Hunter x Hunter, but you could say, oh, well, it's just a funny duddy background character. I don't think so. You're saying that only if you are a consumer. If you are a producer, you understand the necessity of consistency with your style. You understand this, right? So right off the bat, we see that the character looks like Bakugo, and he has the same uniform as the guy from Jujutsu Kaisen. So that's problem number one. And Japanese editor looking at this, he's like, is this dude serious? Because not only can they tell that the backgrounds in particular, you used mock-ups, and that's totally fine. I'm not against that. If you want to save time, use mock-ups. But if you want to redeem or convince an editor that you are creative and very, very skilled, you might want to show off that skill, because when you use a lot of shortcuts and then you use a lot of scenes taken from other manga, it shows the editor that you're kind of lazy. It shows the editor that you're lazy. You are very creative and very smart, brilliant, in that the fact that you can take multiple different mangas and put it together according to the specific scene within the context of the story. That requires brilliance, and that requires somebody who took their time. But unfortunately, the Japanese have a different standard for the foreigner, that you're not going to jack our stuff and think we're not gonna see it, right? So that's number one. Bakugo, Jujutsu Kaisen, main character design, it's a problem. We'll continue, right? Thus far, I will say that I like the story. The story pretty much is about this character who's an assassin for hire, but he only kills those who deserve it. That's his MO. He only kills those who deserve it. And he says, I don't have much of a choice in this world. If you don't do anything for yourself, no one's gonna do anything for you. That's a very good message, because a lot of dudes are sitting down and waiting for miracles to just happen. It's like, nah, bro, you need to get up and go do something. So I agree with the message of this story. It is the type of story to inspire a dude to get the heck up and do something. That's what I'm talking about. But unfortunately, the execution is like, bro, it is hard to commit to this and take it 1,000,000% serious. But man, I do want to see more, and hope that this guy will start using his own creativity instead of borrowing so many things from so many people. So we already step into the action, really. Once again, this is another mock-up, which is fine. It looks cool, no problem, right? And so he has to kill this guy, the boss, and this is the boss's personal bodyguard. So they're gonna be fighting here. Notice the paneling. Guys, this thing's amazing. The paneling is great. Everything, the guy meets the standard, 1,000%. 1,000%. The style, it looking like Bleach, it can be a problem for most, especially when you start borrowing a lot from Bleach scenes. It can be a serious problem. And there is, once again, character design inconsistencies you will see. So right off the bat, we see Bleach. But in the beginning, you wouldn't say you were seeing Bleach here. So that's inconsistency already, right? Artwork overall is good, but inconsistent with character designs. Action scenes, great. Everything phenomenal. No complaints. Just amazing, man. Just straight up amazing, right? And then here, notice how the style somewhat changes a bit. It kind of looks like an Ichigo here. And if you've read Bleach 1,000 times like I have, you know that this particular scene is borrowed from when Ichigo was facing, was it Janemba? Not Janemba from Dragon Ball. That guy who was guarding the Serete, that big giant, when Ichigo had to break into the Serete basically to go save Rukia. This is what it's borrowed from, basically. And because it's so obvious, it's what makes it so annoying. And it's what pisses off an editor, I'm sure. And they were like, okay, this is the best one out of the lot for the month. So we're going to publish it, not serialize it. That's the main difference, right? A guy in the comments made it clear to me that, there's a difference between being published and being serialized. None of these guys are being serialized. They're being published. Meaning this particular chapter gets published, right, for all of us to see over here when we go into Manga Plus on the web, right? But it doesn't get serialized. And I suppose thus far, none have been serialized because all the creators who keep getting these bronze awards, it seems like they keep ripping things off, right? But anyway, continuing here, action scenes, very good. No complaints. As I kept saying, this particular scene, guys, this looks like Harshvald. I can recognize chapter by chapter where he took it from. So it's a very, very big problem. Like I wanted this guy to win when I started reading. It's like, man, this looks so awesome. But then it's like, but bro, you totally jacked a lot of things. Like this is some DD Mark action, And then the question becomes, because DD Mark is still creating more chapters with no return of investment. He is still dishing out a lot of content in hopes, I suppose, of I don't know what, because it's like you're feeding zombies, bro. Zombies are going to continue reading a plain ripoff that doesn't necessarily have a main message or plot line, right? Because it's about this character who has the powers of Lucifer in a way, and he has to discover himself. It's like, yeah, nah, man. And things just randomly happen. It's like, nah. But anyways, so far, looking good. And the power system, we don't know what the heck is going on. I suppose he would explain it in chapter 2, but it does look cool. It looks like the tattoos come alive, and also the bodyguard summons a dragon. Very cool dragon design. Very cool. You see, this particular panel, this achieves even the formula. I'd say 80% achieves the formula, right? It's amazing. I can't say this thing is not amazing. It's amazing. The guy is so good at bringing different elements together. He is good at even like using mock-ups in a way that fits. It does not look like he's plain all just jacked it and took it and put it there. No, it actually fits. It actually works. So congratulations to the guy for that. And we see the main character falling here, and he thinks he's going to get his sword back. He does, slices the dragon. What on earth? Okay, and then we see here, this character is about to unleash a bankai of some sort, but it's not really. But it reminds you of it, right? Agony of Needles. Now the question then becomes, so are we not allowed to borrow power systems or moves that we've seen in different manga? Of course you can borrow it, but the problem, I suppose, when you make it obvious, it really is a problem. It really is a serious problem. Because this particular scene here, it's not Senbon Sakura Kageyoshi, no. But I just forgot who, in a way, it almost is Senbon Sakura Kageyoshi, because it's different blades showing up, not from the ground, but him just, making these needles. And you can say I'm nitpicking and stuff. I have to, because that's what the editor did. The only reason I'm doing this is because I'm in shock, and I want you guys to learn that, guys, we should not rip anything off. If you are creatively bankrupt, be honest with yourself and try to conceptualize things on your own, right? Don't make things obvious. So the needles rain down. Great panel, great page here. And Bakugo, I'm just gonna call the guy Bakugo. Bakugo survives, right? He survives. His sword turns into a black Zangetsu. I'm sorry that I gotta say it like that, but it is what it is, especially when you have a Bleach character design style and then you have Bleach elements. Dude, you're straight up just drawing Bleach here. So it's like, I don't know what to tell you, man, right? So, oh my goodness, you know, when I first read it, I didn't even see that hand position. It's like, bro, did you just put the arm right, his hand to his other arm? That's straight up the Bankai move. And he calls it Hell's Flames, but it looks really cool. It looks amazing. It absolutely amazing. But the fact that it looks like a black Getsuga, and then on top of that, the dude has the same hand position as Ichigo when he used his Bankai, it's an enormous problem. It's a monumental problem. It shows creative bankruptcy. You are good at putting things together, but not so good at thinking up things for yourself. And once again, I'm not bashing, it's just, it is what it is. It is what it is, you know? People got to look at the constructive criticism I'm offering here, because I keep saying this thing's amazing, but it's a plain ripoff. You know, the guy's intelligent in how he took all these elements and put it together within the context. It is amazing. It takes some genius and time to do that. But where he fell short was the fact that he made it obvious where he borrowed all these things from. Look at this explosion here, right? All this debris, that looks so cool. His art style, I like how thin his lines are. His lines are very thin, right? And it doesn't look like it's missing anything. It actually works. It actually works. And so, I remember this scene in particular. This is Byakuya versus Ichigo. And that's what I'm saying. I read Bleach. I studied, y'all. I read Bleach many times. It's like, I can tell, bro, you're making it too obvious. And I'm just a normal dude. An editor will cut you to pieces for doing something so obvious. And so he chases the main boss. And I've seen this scene as well. I forgot, I think it's from some anime or maybe Full Metal Alchemist. That's what I'm saying. Again, borrowed many scenes, and it's too obvious. Again, I keep reiterating that it's too obvious. And then we have the problem of inconsistency, because now it doesn't really look like Bakugo anymore. It looks like Ichigo, or it looks like the guy from Goku Jika, this manga here. What was it called again? Well, you know the one I was talking about, the guy with the red hair. So here we see that he summoned a wolf-like Hyorimaru, a wolf dragon Hyorimaru, and this character design looks like Hyorimaru in his human form. So again, problem, because you're making it too obvious. The composition, amazing. The whole paneling, amazing. Everything is flipping amazing. You cannot believe how blown away I was, but it's like, bro, you stole it, man. You straight up stole it. So it's hard to be like, yeah, you know, to give it a pass. I can't give it a pass because it's too obvious. And then this particular face here, to me, it looks traced, because even the way the hands are drawn here, the mouth, the nose, it looks like Jujutsu Kaisen to some extent, and a little bit of the manga I was talking about, this one. So again, editors can see all these things. So my main point is that you can't get away with it. You can't get away with it. A person who is looking for quality, now this is quality technical drawing skills, but the mere fact that there seems to be quite a few areas where it looks traced, it's a problem. And somebody who's looking for true inspiration, it's hard to respect somebody who looks like he traced a few panels. It's honestly very hard, man. Like, I'm just being honest. Like, believe me, I was looking for this guy's social media so I can follow him, see what he's got cooking later on, but I don't know, man. Like, I just don't know. So here we see, look at the simplicity of this scene over here, the way he drew this mountain range over here. It's fine. It's fine. Maybe he ran out of time or whatever, but again, consistency. Consistency, please. So the fight continues. This scene, y'all, if you've read Bleach, again, I keep repeating myself, if you've read Bleach, you're gonna notice this particular scene, right? How many times did Ichigo make this face? That's what I'm saying when I say there's too many scenes here that look traced. It looks traced. And how he might hide the fact that it's traced is with the thin lines. With the thin lines and the sporadic paneling, but it's well positioned. It might be all over the place, but it's correctly all over the place. So it is able to hide a few elements that are traced, but, a normal person wouldn't be able to pick that up, right? So, continuing here, once again, the face looks different. Back here, this is straight up Ichigo. Again, a bit of Bakugo and Ichigo. Oh my word, guys. I remember this scene. I think he was fighting Ulquiorra. Here. And so the fight continues. The face changes again. And this panel right here, this scene right here, straight up Byakuya versus Ichigo. Especially this right here. I'm sorry, this looks 100% traced. 100% traced. That is Byakuya right there. That is Byakuya right there holding the sword. I'm sorry. In fact, no, it was Ichigo holding Byakuya's sword. And then when this little monster comes up, this is the first original concept it seems to come about since starting reading it. And it does look like a version of Mayuri's Bankai, which is fine because he added his own little stuff. It's a giant worm with a face with a bunch of hands. And again, the problem is we don't know the power system. He didn't talk about it. What is this? It's just tattoos coming alive. That's just my assumption of what's actually going on. I'm not sure, you see. So the mere fact that we have to put things together ourselves, it's a bit problematic. No, you should not spoon feed the audience, but you should give them a solid bite of what's actually happening. So, yeah. Oh, you see, guys, this again, this is Ichigo versus Byakuya. This scene is Ichigo versus Byakuya. This is Byakuya also. I remember, especially when I measured the length, I'm winging it here, when I measured the length of this guy's broad shoulders, it's Byakuya 100%. It's Byakuya, guys. And it's like, I can't believe this. So people who win bronze are those who ripped off a lot of things, and it's why the Japanese don't take us seriously. Not only do foreigners not even uphold the standard, right? They want to rip things off if they uphold the standard. This upholds the standard, but it ripped everything off. Especially, you ripped off the most popular thing out there, one of the most popular things out there, so you made it obvious. I remember this particular panel. This is Byakuya versus Renji. Straight up, Byakuya versus Renji. Ay, caramba. And this one, Ichigo versus Ulquiorra, when he was swinging up that Getsuga, the black Getsuga. Guys, no, man. No. So he loses the fight, though, right? And it's a decent story, really, because the guy says he just wants to put bad people out of commission, right? And it seems like he has a hard life, trying to pay rent and all of that. You know, it is interesting. But on the standard of serialization, it's like, dude, you're not original enough. And the fact that you straight up jacked every iconic scene in Bleach and other manga, it's another problem. It's another problem. It means an editor will say, creatively, you are not sustainable. You're not sustainable, because I can tell that it took time for him to properly position all these scenes within context. It took time. It did not take time to draw these scenes. It took time to position these scenes, because he borrowed it or stole it from a bunch of scenes in Bleach and so on. If we read the comments, I was surprised that a lot of dudes caught this. They say this is very Bleach inspired, good work. Now, I don't know what to say about good work here. Clearly, this is just a consumer. This is what I'm saying, that consumers just look, but they cannot analyze. They see a resemblance of something, but they can't put two and two together. A creator and an editor can be like, bro, I can't respect you for doing this. You are a creative liability. A creative liability is somebody who depends on the works of others in order to sustain their own stuff throughout serialization. Meaning, because he dished out so many pages, borrowed from so many pages from Bleach, how could he keep going on his own creatively for like the 15th chapter? Could he? It's a liability. It's a liability, especially when you take iconic moments from popular manga. You are a liability, right? This guy says, man, Boruto has really changed since the last time I saw him. Bakugo be looking a little different. Bleach, but better be like, this guy is smoking crack. Bleach, but better. This is a zombie. Right? So in other words, the comments here, you can't really take them seriously, because many of these people don't know what they're talking about. This guy says it's so standard, kind of tired with this type of story, and also him resembling Bakugo doesn't help. It doesn't help, right? And so he says this is so standard. In other words, when I speak of the standard as well, it meets the bar. But the mere fact that you ripped off iconic moments and your character designs are inconsistent. One moment it looks like Ichigo, one moment it looks like Bakugo, one moment it looks like the guy from Jujutsu Kaisen. Yeah, it's a serious problem. Walmart Aizen with Korosuchi's Bankai. Oh my goodness, that's a burn. Damn, yeesh. Ah, the house is on fire. Walmart Aizen? Oh my goodness. Whew. Oh man, that's an insult, man. That is bad. That is, oh my goodness, bro. Like I'm even on fire right now. Whoa. Walmart, bro. Imagine somebody calling your characters a Walmart version of any popular manga out there. They have the right to do so, though, because that's exactly what it is. Because you were creatively bankrupt. You did not have the currency, the creative currency, to go digging and afford some original designs. You had to go to Walmart because you're broke. You're creatively broke. I like this a lot, especially when compared to past bronze winners. Heavy inspiration from Bleach is quite clear. This is basic as if. Actually, it looks interesting. That's the thing. It does look interesting. As I said, I like the story. I really do. Bolt, a 17-year-old boy, aspires to pursue a career as a professional assassin, a challenging and lucrative profession, in order to settle his debts and escape the monotonous cycle of cleaning toilets to make ends meet. See, this can inspire people. Not, of course, it's not really about killing people, and he did say that he kills those who deserve it, but ultimately it's a man trying to get himself out of the gutter. And what is available for him to do that is by being an assassin. Unfortunately, the execution of this manga is rather, I don't want to say poor, but it is poor. It's poor because the guy ripped everything off. Artistically, it's hard to even judge artistically because he traced many panels. I don't really know if he can necessarily draw something for himself, because the one thing that looks like he drew it is this panel here. This is the only thing that looks like he drew it himself. Everything else, because even this panel here, it reminds me of a scene in the anime version of Jujutsu Kaisen. So it's a problem. I can see this because I'm a creator. I used to teach art, right? For all of those saying, how do you know? I used to be a teacher, so I do know, right? And an editor knows as well. So let this be a lesson to people who want to cut corners. You can't. You will be caught, right? You will be seriously caught, and you will ruin the respect that you could earn, right? You will seriously ruin the respect that you could earn, guys. But overall, I want to see more of this. I really do, because I like the character himself. I like that he's on a mission to change his circumstance, and we have yet to find out what other problems he has, but it's interesting enough. But the question then becomes, what now? Well, we don't know. He got the bronze, he got the $100,000 Japanese yen. It's not serialized, it will never be serialized. And so maybe he'll get the clue that Manga Plus is just a scam, because nobody's gonna get serialized. Nobody. You just get your stuff published on the website and that's it. And then they inflate your numbers and that's it. They pay you in dopamine. If you're lucky enough to get a bronze, 100,000 Japanese yen, how much is that? Like $100? $100? I don't think it's $1,000, right? So either way, man, $100 is nothing. You can't even buy a PS5 with that. If it's $1,000, okay, you can buy a PS5 with that. But then in the next 2 months, it's over for you. You got to start from scratch. So this is what I'm saying about websites like this, is that they mainly pay us in dopamine. They pay us in social media currency, which does nothing in the real world for you at all. At all. As good as this guy is, but then again, I can't necessarily say that. I can't say that because I know this panel here, this panel is traced. You want to know how I know? Because of this hand specifically, actually. This hand specifically. If any of you have ever tried to trace using Clip Studio, those who fail, right, and make it obvious is because you don't have a consistent pressure on the lines. This guy's pressure point or pressure application on the lines is so profound that a normal person wouldn't really see it. But because we had to trace a few things in the school that I was in, right? I know what it's like. I used to get things off or it would look obvious that it was traced, like really, really obvious, because there wasn't a consistent line, right? Line pressure. But yeah, only a creator can know. Don't fall for this stuff in which repays us in dopamine. This manga called No Name, that was illustrated by some French guy, and the artist, the writer is the guy who wrote Cyberpunk Edge Runners. You know, I don't like the story. It's not interesting to me, plain and simple. It's just not interesting. It's not interesting. The art, of course, it's amazing, but the characters are not appealing enough for that. But that's my personal opinion, right? It's very well polished and so on, but when I read this, I don't necessarily know who the target market is for. I don't know, because of the character design specifically. Because if this was geared to a shonen audience, we all know the shonen aesthetic. It doesn't have it. It doesn't really have it. It might have shonen moments where there's a shonen gag moment and so on, but ultimately, I don't know who the target market is. I don't know who this was being sold to. The powers here are based on people knowing somebody's name, something like that. See, I can't even remember because it wasn't that interesting. But of course, I can't hate the art's flipping amazing. This is Dandadan level. But that's the thing, there's more to it than just art. There's more to it than just story. It must be a well-packaged product. The art and the story are two ingredients that you have to put in the pot and stir it up and cook it and make sure it tastes nice, and then you package it accordingly. And so if one ingredient is off here, right, too much salt or less, not enough salt, then the overall product is not as tasteful. And that's what I found with this. I don't know what this guy was cooking here. I don't know where in the supermarket you're gonna put this dish. I don't know. You put it on the menu, what do you call it? I don't know. I have no idea. But this manga, you know full well that this is a shonen manga. You know full well what this guy was cooking. But as an editor, as a creator, it's hard to give respect to somebody whom clearly traced a few things and stole iconic moments. He does not have creative longevity. He doesn't. D.D. Mark is still dishing things out. He's still, I don't know about chapter 10, but since chapter 1, we've been seeing Chainsaw Man. But ultimately, the guy's wasting his time. He's gonna burn himself out. He's like burning his youth, 22 years old, burning his youth. And the guy thinks he might be going somewhere fine. He got a deal with some publisher we don't know about. But ultimately, it's like, bro, are you eating though? Are you eating though? Remember that song? Are you eating though from Ruthless Render? No, he's not. You're eating by doing work for somebody else, and that creates a lack of fulfillment, in which when you get older, you're gonna realize that, oh no, what have I done? But anyways, guys, this is why this manga got a bronze. And makes me wonder if he, like in the covers here, if he did trace these covers or not. Like man, there are so many pages here. This, I mean, you can see it for yourself, guys. That's Bakugo. That's Bakugo, man. Even the hair color, even the eyes, it's like, bro, you couldn't even. In fact, it also looks like the character from Tokyo Shinobi, or Shinobi Tokyo, that manga that got canceled, right? Tokyo Shinobi Star, something like that. It got canceled. And it's like, dude, you made it so obvious. You made it really obvious. And when people say your stuff is Walmart Eisen with Kurosuchi's Bankai, Mayuri's Bankai, then you know it's a problem. So please, everyone, don't think you can get away with it. Be original. You know, if you really have to rework your stuff, rework it. What am I going to do now? In case Image screws me, if I don't get a response by November, it means it's over. I have considered to do a couple of things, but I will no longer be putting my stuff out for free because that adds to the burnout. You know, those who like my stuff, it'll be like, okay, dude, I guess you can buy the volume for $5 when I make it available, or yeah, I'll think of other things as well. But I don't recommend people putting out their stuff for free anymore because it does lead to burnout, right? At the end of the day, this is all you got, your art. And giving it away for free, it's your work, man. It's your work. It's your gift. And gifts, well, are expensive. Gifts are expensive, man. But anyways, don't be like Mr. Bolt over here. Be honest. Don't trace. Don't steal. Be original. Until next time.